Awesome day today, man. Beautiful weather, really hot again, Thank the good Lord for that. Had a good day just in helmets, a lot of special teams work, and it was a good day. So we're going to name Billy Wiles a starter. Two things have been evident to me throughout this fall camp. One, Holman and Billy are both really good players and good leaders, and we can win with both of them. And two, Billy's been better. He's just been a little bit better, and this is not a deal where, like, Holman's a really good football player, like a really good player. Billy's just been a little bit better, and he's done some things better. So, he's going to be the starter moving forward, and we'll roll with that. And y'all know how we go here, man. We compete every day. We had good competition again today, and our kickers are still battling. We'll probably finalize that towards the end of this week because we got 3 more practices in Shields. And we're getting ready for Alcorn, starting introducing Alcorn today. They're obviously a proud program. Over the last several years, they've won a lot of conference championships. And, it's going to be a tremendous challenge. We expect the Rock to be packed, and should be a fun first game. And so we've got to be ready for that and all that entails. And we transition over to kind of doing that. The rest of the week will be what we call 50-50 days. We'll have what is normally a competition Tuesday tomorrow, even though it's a Wednesday. And then we'll go to scouts at the end. The rest of the week, it'll be like what is a normal Wednesday for us. The first half, we'll do some keeping our blade sharp stuff. And the second half, we'll do mostly scouts, getting ready for Alcorn. So with that, I'll open it up.
Can you take us, Coach, through when you told the guys about your decision at QB and what their reactions were?
Well, that's between me and them. I told them first thing yesterday morning. Y'all know me and how I handle things. I try to be upfront and honest. And, hey, I love them 2 kids. You know what I mean? And they love Southern Miss. They love each other. And obviously, they both want to start and they both can't. But they're 2 really good players that I think the world of. I think they're both 2 of the best quarterbacks in this conference. I really do. I think they're both good players. And but we told them first thing yesterday morning.
Coach, hit on the move to Mahaffey to Jack.
Yeah, so Jordan, we moved him to tight end in the spring to give us a little more punch right there. And then as we got into the summer and Justin Reed got here and Evan McNally's growth, so we all of a sudden had 2 players that were young that we felt like were going to be really good players in this league this year. And at that point, we kind of talked to Mahaffey, how are you liking offense? Would you rather be defense? He said, Coach, I kind of like defense better. And so we moved him back over. With Hobbs being out, we think moving him to Jack gives us some pass rush ability and playmaking ability. Jordan is a guy that plays every snap like it's the last time he's ever going to get to play in his life. And so he's coming off a little injury that he sustained early. And so he's going to be fine. But we think he can add some more depth right there to a really talented Jack run with Clemens and Carr and Tremont Henry.
What was the reaction or the general feel in the QB room after you named the starter?
Well, that's between me and those 2 guys. You know what I mean? They're first-class human beings, and they love Southern Miss, love each other, and they're going to keep competing versus each other. Billy knows Holman's going to bring it every day, and Holman is going to bring it every day. That's the way. That's the fiber he's made of. So, it is what it is.
You've known Billy Wiles a long time, Coach. You recruited him. What way back then? What was it about his skill set that initially made him stand out to you as a recruiter?
Yeah, well, recruiting him, we knew that he was highly intelligent. He had a deep passion for football, and he had great throwing ability from an accuracy and touch standpoint. The thing that he's shown through this fall camp, and y'all can see it, is making plays outside of the pocket. Like the first touchdown run in the scrimmage the other day. His ability to run and make plays that are off script a little bit, if you will, have been really good. And then he understands the offense, the checks, where the ball's supposed to go. And Holman does too. You know what I mean? Like, they're both really good. So we're excited about both of them.
How did Billy come onto your radar when he was a freshman?
When he was a freshman, you talking about?
Back when you were at Tulane,
At
right?
Tulane, yeah. So when I was at Tulane, I never coached Billy. I just had him committed.
Right.
So, we national recruited for quarterbacks. And Billy was a young man that was high academic. And, we reached out to him, me and Wes Fritz, the director of personnel there. And he was responsive to everything Tulane had to offer. And he came in on an unofficial visit with him and his mom right before COVID hit. So we were actually able to meet each other and get to know each other. And, it was a pretty good hit right away with how I do things and want to do things and what he's looking for. And so he committed to us. And then, of course, we came here and we both went our separate ways. And now we're back together, hoping for a lot of fun times.
And kind of bounce off that. I mean, I assume he hit the portal and it was a natural connection kind of thing.
Yeah, once he hit the portal, like I said, we had a great relationship from previous, and not just with me, but also with Rebecca and his family and all that. And same thing with Holtman. We had a lot of relationships with him, being from French Camp, his daddy running that school, and so many connections from him to East Central. And he played for Shannon Dawson at Houston, who used to coach here, and we've known a long time. So there was deep connections with both of them, which allowed us to sign 2 highly recruited players that a lot of people wanted at that position.
And the quarterback battle was really tight all through fall camp. What was the moment that you felt like Billy Wiles really separated himself? Was there a play? Was there a moment in practice? Or
No, I never thought it was a moment because I wanted to let it play out. I wanted to scrimmage twice. I wanted every practice to matter, and I think it did. I think they were both really good. I just think Billy was a little bit better, and he was a little bit better consistently. I think they both played at a high level. I just think I know, based off all the data and everything, that he was a little bit better, and he was consistently a little bit better.
Coach, have we made too big a deal out of this? Considering you got 2 quarterbacks you really like.
That's the Southern Miss way, though, Kevin. If we're not making a big deal out of something, we're not being who we are. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just how we roll, right? And that's because we got such a passionate fan base that love it. And they want to build this program back. I think our fan base believes that we are building it back. I think we're chomping at the bit to get back. And I think we're going to be in the mix. I do. Somebody asked me the other day, when are you going to win championships again? And I said, man, I don't know. I don't know, but I know we're going to eventually. And I hope it happens sooner rather than later, but we are a little closer today than we were yesterday. And these kids we've got are pushing to get it back. And we've got a tremendously hard schedule, but we're going to be in the mix.
Other than Hobson, how are you guys physically now as you head into the opener?
Yeah, we should be good. Davis Dalton is still nursing a hamstring. We hope to have him back. He plays a position that's tough on a hamstring because he's a punter and a receiver, which if you've ever tried to do either one of those with a pulled hamstring, that's hard. But outside of that, off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody that wasn't, out there that we're planning on playing today. So I feel pretty good about it.
Coach, is your depth chart pretty much set, or there's still some position battles going on the next 10 days or so?
Well, yeah, I mean, if we had to play today, we know who we'd start. But, man, we do competition every Tuesday, and people have to play well during the year. And that's what we just actually got done talking about, Ty Mims wasn't starting this time last year. Bryce Ramsey wasn't starting this time last year. But, you don't practice just to do it. You practice to improve. And there's people that are going to improve over the year, especially guys that are just here and learning the systems. Young guys are going to get more and more comfortable with our systems as the year goes on. And so young guys usually grow, as the year goes on. So we're going to always compete at every spot.
How confident does it make you that, as opposed to previous years where you had to, select by default, you have such competition and such talented players that the decision is kind of difficult?
Yeah, well, that's what you want as a program. You know what I'm saying? You want to get to the point where there's competition at every spot. And we went into this offseason saying we wanted the quarterback room to be like our D-line room, and we felt like we did that, because I think it's been so much fun to watch these 2 kids compete every day. I think it's been so much fun to watch them bring it. I think it's been so much fun to see their competitive nature and how they've risen to the occasion. And I think it's only made our team better as a whole.
Thank you, Coach.
Y'all ready? Here we go. Billy, how's it feel to finally have the job and just the competition be at an end?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. About a little less than 2 weeks till our first game, so I'm just excited to go compete with everybody. And yeah, it was a really fun competition. I'm happy that we're here and the season's ready to go, and I'm just ready to play.
Is it a relief?
That's a tough one, I guess. Maybe a little bit, but it was fun all along. There wasn't a lot of stress, more just good stress, kind of pushing each other along. But yeah, it's a good feeling, I would say, for it to be over and to have won it.
I'd like to talk about your fall camp, and maybe where you feel like you were better from the spring.
Yeah, I mean, I think I told you guys earlier in camp, just like, I feel like this summer I made a big leap mentally from the spring, just in terms of moving through progressions faster, knowing what to read. So I think that was a big leap for me, and then just getting stronger with LA athletically. and then just timing with receivers, all that stuff. So
What is something you really, every day you came out in practice, that you really wanted to make a point to show to the coaches?
I think accuracy and decision making was big for me. Just showing them that I can make the right decisions when it all came down to it, and then when I did make that decision, be accurate with the ball.
Coach was saying you understand the offense pretty seamlessly. How quickly did that happen from the point you got on campus?
I have great teachers with Coach Joseph and Coach Hall. So I mean, throughout the spring, just getting to learn it, and then summer too, just keep learning new stuff and then mastering old stuff. But yeah, I mean, like I said, 2 great teachers.
When you hit the portal, what made you want to come back? I guess in a sense reunite with Hall, and just what made you choose Southern Miss?
Obviously, Coach Hall, like you said, just my relationship with him. He's always been awesome to me. Then I came down here and loved it, and I could just see the love that everybody had for this school and this program. That's all you want, is to be supported. So, and then, yeah.
Do you remember the first time you met Coach Hall?
I do, yeah. So it was literally a couple days before the COVID outbreak shut everything down. Me, my mom, and my youngest sister went down to Tulane, and we walked around the facilities, got to watch practice, and then kind of explored a little bit. Yeah, it was a great time.
What does it mean to you to represent a university like this that you said is so passionate about football?
It means so much to me, and I'm so excited, and I'm so thankful for the University of Southern Mississippi and Coach Hall and Coach Joseph.
So, now that you've officially been named the starter, you are a leader in the locker room. What's your message to the team as you head into week 1?
Let's go. Let's compete. Let's win a lot of ball games and go chase the Sun Belt.
Just the way the offense is operating, how much have you feel like things are getting in sync with your O-line, your center, and all kind of your skill guys? Right?
Yeah, they've been looking good, picking stuff up, seeing things on the back end. And then obviously we go and talk. I live with a bunch of O-linemen, so we talk, we figure things out. And we're going to keep getting better, and they've been doing a great job.
How'd they tell you got the job?
Coach Hall told me. Just called me into his office. Pretty simple, yeah.
Did you have any conversation with Holman?
I did, yeah. He texted me and congratulated me. Like I've always said, me and Holman are great friends. So it's going to be a fun season with Holman, and I'm excited for it.
Well, Coach, I guess just 10 days out or so, I mean, how do you feel about this defense as a whole, and how you guys have come together throughout the fall camp?
Yeah, I thought that last scrimmage is really who we think we really are, outside of maybe those first 2 series. But once we kind of made a play or 2, we kind of got some momentum there. We got a lot of really, really good pieces. Got good depth right now. Luckily we're to this point where we're done with camp, and unfortunately you lose Hobbs to his circumstances, and then you lose Cooley as well. So, we got a lot of really good pieces, and we feel like with those pieces we got a lot of really good depth that's going to give us a chance to be really, really good on defense.
What did you notice the change after those first 2 drives on Saturday? It seemed like a whole new life.
Yeah, I started pressuring a little bit more, to be honest. Just kind of got back to our attacking style of play. Tried to create some issues for Coach Hall and those guys on offense, and I think the play that really stood out was we called a 0 blitz, and they tried to throw the screen into the field side number 1, and our guys just reacted and saw it and came downhill and made a play at the line of scrimmage, and it gives belief to your defense that you can do those types of things and have success. And after that, I think they just kind of got a little life, got a little juice in them that allowed us to play fast.
Touch on where Majors and Swayze are at this point after kind of a year off from football.
They haven't missed a step at all. Those 2 guys are such smart football players. I mean, there's tiny little details here and there of stuff we may do a little bit different than we did in the past, but those 2 guys have played so much football historically here that for those guys you could throw them out there. They want to fall camp, install 15 calls, and know exactly what to do on all of them. So they haven't missed a beat. So
Obviously, you lost a lot of experienced guys in the secondary. Do you feel like it's that back there has finally come together just in this last week?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't necessarily have the experience in play in this scheme, but you got really, really talented players that through their dedication and hard work of picking up the techniques that are maybe a little bit different or taught differently than they were in the past. You know, obviously bringing in Coach Wilson's been a change in the corner room. It's a little different style of coaching, you could say, than it was with Coach Williams. But, you know, I think we have a lot of really good pieces. You know, we got a solid at least 2 deep plus one of guys that it doesn't matter to me who's in the game. I trust them all to be able to go out there and execute at a high level.
Whenever other coaches describe you, they immediately talk about how you're a very cerebral, well thought out guy. What do you feel sets you apart from other people that are in the same position?
I don't know. I guess it's, you know, my dad for so long had been a college coach, and you know, he's not a super fiery guy. There's times where I think you gotta bring that fire, but you know, to me, there's so much within a game that you got to process in your head as a coordinator, depending upon time on the clock, score, situations. There's so much stuff that you gotta be ready to move on to the next thing and prepare the kids for that next thing. That you know, it's just kind of one of those things that I guess just the way my mind works there, in terms of trying to always prepare for the next thing that could possibly come, and making sure the kids are prepared for it, so nothing catches them off guard as well.
Coach, through this camp, can you kind of talk about some guys who come on for you during this camp?
Yeah, so you know, starting in the secondary, obviously MJ Daniel is one at the corner spot. Brendan Tolles has made some plays. You know, Quez McNeil, Mike Caraway are kind of the guys that have kind of established themselves in that role. You know, Dylan Lawrence, who I know the offensive guys talk about a lot, is really a freak of nature. You know, the nice thing with him is you just got to coach him to do right. You don't have to coach effort. You don't have to coach physicality. So, you know, just continuing to bring him along. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be very impactful for our defense this year. Elijah Sabatini's another one. Everybody knows Jay Stanley, so, you know, obviously he's back there. But I think the two guys at Star and Markel and Jay Jones are guys that are going to have a really good year. And then you got all the guys at linebacker that we've already talked about. I mean, we've already talked about Hayes and Swayze, but Jalen Sims is another one that, you know, I think people are going to know his name pretty soon here. And then you got all the guys up front, obviously, with Jaleel, Josh, Carr, you know, Christian Booth, Eric Thomas. You know, all those interior guys are special guys that, you know, they're gonna be able to make plays in the backfield and, you know, be able to keep our backers free to let the backers go make some plays every once in a while, or the backers are going to pull a double team off and they're going to have the opportunity to do it themselves. So, you know, we have a lot of really good players. Unfortunately, you can only play 11 at one time, but again, it just gives you depth throughout the entire defense.
Growing up as a coach's son, I wonder how much the coaching bug kind of got in you early, and when you knew you kind of wanted to get into coaching.
I'll be honest, I didn't make the decision until my senior year in college. You know, it was just one of those things, just growing up, seeing the relationships that developed between, you know, my dad and his staff and his players. And I mean, I used to invite his players to my birthday party when I was a little kid. It was just one of those things that you just grow up in that kind of lifestyle. You know, growing up in New England and going to school at Boston College, you know, Coach Belichick was obviously in New England, and I always found it interesting to be on the defensive side. My dad was an offensive guy his whole career, so outside of playing on the defensive side. But, you know, I always wanted to work on the defensive side, and, you know, my dad always told me, he said, if you're going to work on the defensive side, you better coach the secondary, because that's where you're going to learn everything from back to front. And he said, if you're going to work on offense, work on the offensive line, because that's where everything starts. So it's just kind of the mindset, I guess, I grew up with, and watching those New England defenses early on with Coach Belichick, and just kind of piqued my interest there. And again, it's the relationships between players and coaches, and coaches and players.
How often do you, you know, still get advice from your dad? I mean, maybe after a game or whatever, and how much does he kind of still influence you in the way you kind of coach?
Oh, it's constant. It's constant. You know, he texted me Saturday because he saw Coach Hall's post press conference and was like, "You guys must have had a good day," because of how Coach Hall's talking. But no, it's constant. You know, he'll share stuff that he's done in the past. You know, being a head coach, of what they've done defensively that gave teams problems, or, you know, tried to handle specific players. I mean, he had a coach against Michael Vick and some of these guys in the ACC years ago. So, you know, he's seen just about everything. So, just the constant communication there about, you know, how to handle certain situations, you know, managing kids, managing coaches, managing you know, situations in games and stuff, that he's been, you know, a huge asset to have.
When interviewing these guys about you, everything says nothing but positive things, and they always, every single one that we've talked to has highlighted their relationship with you. How would you describe your relationship with these players?
I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you're here for them to make sure, you know, obviously you want them to have as much success on the field as they can, but there's life outside of football, and, you know, if they got issues, they got problems, you got to be here for them. And you know, every kid comes from a different background, so you don't, you know as coaches what's at home within their family, but, you know, not everybody's a two-parent home, not everybody has a dad, not everybody has a mom. And, you know, wherever you can help these kids is I think the biggest thing that we try to do, because, you know, with Coach Hall, it's a culture of love around here. I mean, our doors are always open. Doesn't matter who the player is, doesn't matter who the coach is, our door is always open. So if a kid has a better relationship with one coach over another, you know, it doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. We just want to make sure everything is as good as it can be with these kids.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it, Coach.